Hey everyone, it's Mari Clarke here, and I'm up today with Melissa Vining for Scraplift Saturday. And this is the layout that we scrap lifted that you're seeing on the screen there. It's an absolutely beautiful layout that I pinned on Pinterest. And what I did to prep the paper was I just took some white cardstock and I sprayed it with some navy color shine and some gold color shine. And on the left side there, you can see that I used a circle stencil just to create a little bit more texture, which is what I tried to duplicate from the original layout that you saw at the beginning there. So I also took a little bit of gold washi tape and a variety of different gold washies and just put a little bit down there on the layout. And now you're going to see that I'm going to take some golden fluid acrylic in carbon black, and I've poured that into my fine line bottle, and I use this on projects just to do some script, and it's really cool. It adds a really nice dimension to your layout because it actually dries quite glossy and thick on there. So I'm actually going to just put the quote on the bottom there before I work on any more of the layout. So the quote is going to say, "Keep your face always toward the sunshine and the shadows will fall behind you." And that's a Walt Whitman quote. And I really struggle with this because I just kind of nicely get started and somebody knocked on my door, and you can see there's a variety of points here where I just kind of like stop for a while, and I'm yelling at my husband to get the door because I didn't want to stop the video and at this point. And so anyways, what ended up happening was I kind of lost my place and I made a bit of a mess with the writing here. So I ended up having to start over, but that's okay. It's fine in the end anyways. So you'll just see me working away on that script. So like I said, this is just a really fun way to get some neat writing on your layouts. And especially if it's a layout that has some mixed media on it, I think it just really adds kind of a neat little bit of different sort of texture to the layout. I think it looks really cool. So you'll just see me working away here on that, and then at one point we'll have a transition and you'll see that it's finished, and it does look a little different because like I said, I started over. So you can see that I've rounded the corners on the white cardstock. I sized the paper down a little bit because I knew that I wanted to map that white cardstock onto something darker, like a dark gray. And the toque that my daughter is wearing in the picture that you'll see here in a minute is a really dark gray color, almost kind of a little bit of a mauve in it. And the picture that I'm scrapping here of her is the first day, just kind of like when she walked in the door for Christmas holidays. And I was so excited to see her. And I, of course, greeted her with the camera. So I stuck the camera in her face and took this picture. And I love the picture. I'm just showing you that washi there again. I just use, like I said, I used 3 different gold washies just to add a little bit of texture there. And I can't remember if that was on... I think there was some on the original layout too that I'm lifting here. So I took some extra heavy scrapbook or cardstock, and I just I drew out a primitive heart and then just cut it out. And so instead of the original layout had that heart cut out of the white cardstock layer, and I didn't want to do that. I don't know, I think I was just too lazy to try it or something. I just thought this would be easier. And I mean, as any other time when you're scrap lifting somebody, there's often times where you decide to do things slightly different, right? Either because it's easier or you weren't really sure how they did theirs or whatever the case might be. But for this one, I'm just putting this down. I liked it this way when I was messing around with it. So I'm just putting some vellum behind it with some circles in gold foil. And now I'm just going to take, well, I guess I'm going to stick that down first. I don't think I've done that yet. My ATG gun has really been acting up. I don't know what's going on with it. I don't know if it's some of the glue has kind of gotten stuck up inside of it or whatever, but anyhow, I'll struggle with that a little bit, I think, when I'm trying to glue things down. So I'm just going to size that down a little bit. I just felt like it was a little bit too long, and I'm just going to try to get that placed where I want it. So I think I'm just about there, and I'm soon going to stick that down. You'll notice that I also put some splatters in Color Shine in gold and navy on the layout once I sprayed it. And when I'm spraying this Color Shine to this extent, I usually spray it inside of a box. And it's really, I didn't videotape it because it's kind of awkward to, like, because I don't put the box on my table when I do that. I put it on the floor because I like to get some height with the spray so that the spray sort of like dissipates on the whole layout, if that makes sense. So anyways, it was kind of cumbersome for me to film that. So that's why I didn't videotape that portion of the process, but it is really simple to do. It's really hard to mess up Color Shine. Let's put it that way. It's such a beautiful product, and it's actually, I feel like it's really easy to use. And so just experiment with a little bit if you haven't used it before. But I did get quite a bit of gold on there, and I let it drip. And that's the way the original layout was that I'm lifting here. So I'm finally going to get that white heart stuck down there. Now this heart, I actually took my texture tool and I went around and roughed up the edges of it because, you know, this layout it definitely has that feel to it where it's beautiful and elegant, but it's also got some roughness to it, you know, some texture to it. So that's why I did that to the white cardstock. So I just made a tag out of that same gray cardstock that is the background or the frame for the layout, and I'm just going to take that picture of Bailey and stick that down. I made a little gold reinforcement for the tag just so that it would stand out a little bit there, and of course match the gold on the layout. That gold Color Shine is my very most favorite product of all time. I love that stuff. I wouldn't be sad to put it on absolutely every single layout that I have ever made, I'm sure. I'm going to use a whole bunch of gold thread on this layout too, and it just is meant to lay on there in a really messy way, and I cut the threads really long for that purpose just because I wanted it to kind of lay on there loosely. And on the original layout, I believe it was black thread that was used there on that cutout of the heart. So I wanted to go with that same idea, but I used gold thread on my layout. So I've just popped that picture of Bailey up and that tag on some pop dots, and I'm just going to stick that down on the heart, and I'm just going to I'm going to give that a good look, and now I'm just going to get out some of the other embellishments that I've lined up. So this is just a little heart button that I found in my stash. I have no idea where that came from. And I just, I actually put some navy and some gold Color Shine on it, and just a little bit of gold thread in the holes of the button. And this is actually a chipboard button from one of the crepe paper chipboard sheets. I don't know which one, maybe Craft Market. And this is a brad from a million years ago from my Stampin' Up stash. This little charm is so cute. It's got a little angel on it, and then there's also a piece that's a postcard. And I just attached them together with gold thread, and I'm just gonna wind those around that brad when I get that brad attached to the layout. So, you know, I'm almost finished here, and you'll just see a transition here where I've stuck everything down. But I really enjoyed doing this layout. It gave me a chance to get into my mixed media. And of course, scraplifting is always a great idea when you lose your mojo and you're not really sure what you want to do with the products that you have. So it's a great way to be inspired. So I didn't use the inspiration board too much for this layout, maybe a little bit for the color palette, but mostly I just went with using that layout for my inspiration. So you can see where I've added the thread, and I just added a little heart in some more of that paint. So that's about it for me today. So thanks so much for joining me on the Crafty Maven Getaway. See you next time, and have an amazing day. Bye.